What's happening, everybody? All right. What's up, PJ? What's going on? Elroy Logistics? What's happening? Short Haul Slayer, Alabama in the house. Guess who? Yeah, we know who. What's up, Pale Rider TV? Mr. Retired? How's it going in the retired life? If you'd like to join in live, click the link in the description somewhere over there. All right. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Let's see. We all know Matt's is coming up, so we'll talk a little bit about that. We will get some stuff on the wall. All right. Let's see. Add me down in the corner. All right. So, liketrucking.com, if you want to join our family, just go there, fill out the application. It's a quick process. We have spots open with a trailer or without a trailer. We got some trailers available. If you have your own trailer, we can take as many as we want if you have your own trailer. So for all you Landstar guys out there with your own trailer, come on over here, get paid faster, get the same good fuel discounts, tire discounts, fleet insurance, all that stuff, and have access to more freight. It's a win-win situation in that aspect. What's up, Canadian Freight Broker? What has happened? Fishing is life. There you go. Hope you're catching something. Now, we will be at Matt's. We got our itinerary. We will be there at the Thunder Funding 123 Load Board booth, like always. Stop by and see us and get signed up. So if you're not signed up with 123 Load Board, Thunder Funding, it's a great place to do it. You can come see everybody, talk to everybody, get all your questions answered, and join the family. It is a great family to belong to. Trust me on that. So if anybody hasn't heard Pale Rider TV, he's in here. Go to his channel. He has retired folks. He's been doing it. You've been doing it longer than me, Pale Rider? Or just as long? Are you over the 30-year mark? I couldn't remember on that. But that's what's going on right now. Matt's end of the month coming up. Woo, Matt's bound. Yeah, I sent 27 years. So, man, he's close to me. He's close. I got him beat by a couple years, but he's close. Yes, Snorlord is going to be at Matt's too. Just like last. We have our itinerary. Let's see who's in here. Add to the right. So we will get over here. Let's see who this is.
Add to the right.
What's up, CDN?
How's it going? How's it going? Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Oh my God, you're blowing my ears out. Where are you at, skating?
Oh, no, I'm working out. Gonna start working out.
Oh, working out. Let's.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what you're doing.
Let's see. Can I do this? Will this work? There we go. See this big sled? It's called the tank. I'm going to load up 90, 180 pounds. Let's see, 245s, another 245s. My warm-up will be walking backwards for 5 minutes around the track, hauling this big sled as heavy as I can make it.
So we get to watch you for 5 minutes?
Yeah, that's my. I'll use you guys as my warm-up because I came on for a specific question for you.
Okay, what's up, big face trucker?
I know you and.
Go ahead. You're breaking up.
Okay, let's try this.
Must be all the steel around.
Can you hear me okay here?
Yeah. What's the specific
Yeah,
question?
can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking, I know you've talked about it, and so is Steve on his channel, that you guys are looking for contractors. And it seems that both you and Steve have nice YouTube channels, and you both have some skill sets of cameras. So what would it take? You guys should collaborate and get some different drivers making some video testimonials, and bada boom, slam together a nice little emotional video about the benefits of being at light trucking, a little one for, different drivers showing their journeys and how light trucks help them. Kind of a, little promo video, nice little emotional thing to share out on the channels.
That's a good idea, CDN. Since you come up with the idea, I think you should film it.
Well, I'd be willing to help you out if someone sent me the footage. I can help splice it together.
You need to get out of BC. Come on down here and do some filming and visit.
That'd be cool to do.
Expand your horizon. Springfield, Missouri is almost due south of you. Well, you got to go a little bit east, but
just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So, yeah.
But that would give you a chance to go around to all your U.S. Customers and actually see their operation. It'd be a business trip.
That's for sure. It could be, but it's a big business trip, that's for sure. It's a very big one.
Well, you're not working out very hard if you're just walking around with the phone instead of pushing that sled.
I got to grab the gear. You got to grab the gear.
Gotta grab the gear.
Got to grab the gear. Otherwise, I can't walk backwards without the gear.
Right.
They got everything. Everything's all kabobbled here. I'm missing my stuff.
Do you have one of those watches on so you can keep track of your workouts?
No, I do. Sort of. I follow a specific program. It tells me what I need to do, and I'm all kabobbled because I'm on here talking to you, and I'm looking around for my stuff. So that's why I said my goal
is it on your phone? The program?
No, it's an app.
Right, like an app on the phone.
Yeah, it's an app on the phone.
Okay, so I'll act like your app and tell you what to do.
Okay, you tell me what to do and I'll do it.
All right. Put 300 pounds on that bar and do some squats.
Well, hang on, I got to set you down for a second.
That's not a very good shot. Well, CDN trying to flash everybody.
Sorry, that's not the intent there. Sorry. I was just looking for, I want to switch this around.
Well, I'm waiting to see you do the exercise.
Oh, I'm coming. It's coming. I'm almost there now.
If everybody's wondering,
I got to contend with that.
We are at the gym inside BC.
I'll return it. I'll return everything.
And you do have a comment here for you. Someone needs some longer shorts.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't realize when he put the phone on the ground like that and stood over the top of it.
One more plate, and then I can get into my groove.
Well, you're already in the groove. You're running back and forth. That's more exercise than a lot of drivers get.
What am I carrying right now? 45 pounds. 45-pound plate.
Now, you sure that's not empty? Or is that solid plate?
No, I can assure you it's not empty. It's not empty. I'll be sweating soon.
You're making us all tired.
Yeah, that's the...
Shoot. I got to take a break
that's
after
the plan. I got to figure it out.
Let me take a break here. All right, we have live from British Columbia, inside the rec center.
No, it's actually I'm live from Alberta. It's Alberta.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alberta.
Yeah, it's a little colder here.
This is not that kind of channel, says PJ.
No, it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. Okay. Now I've got you rigged up here. I got to face you up again.
So how's business? Oh, he's gone. I was going to ask him how the broker business was going. Because everybody knows February right now, freight is all over the place. There is some good freight in some places, but you have to be in those places to get it. Other than that, hey, Jeff, parked tonight in Flagstaff, Arizona. Glad to be able to catch one of your live shows. What's up, Paul? What's happening? And Flagstaff. Where are you at? Little America or something like that? T.E.N is live again. Getting ready to pull the sled.
So you see that there? They got the big sled. I got it. This piece here goes around the waist. So I got to put let's see if I can get a lap done in 5 minutes. There, now we're moving. Everyone else is flying by me, but I'm slow as a pace. Building my knees up. Strength, bulletproof of knees is what this is about.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know, what is this? 450, 500 meter lap, so. And it's called the tank, Rogue tank. It's on the hardest setting, and I've got 4 plates. Each plate is 90 pounds. So. But yeah, no, I just wanted to come on and say I think you and Steve could sure make a nice video.
That's a good idea, CDN, and we'll let you get to your workout.
Okay, enjoy the night. I'll watch the replay. Thanks.
All right, brother. I got to answer some questions now. All right, see you.
You bet. Yeah.
All right, so we will get to a question, Almond here, and what we'll see here. Put it in there, and then we will go to the whiteboard, and we will scratch all this off here, and let's get to business. This is where we excel, right? This is where this channel excels. We like teaching trucking. And if you want to come to this company, it's a good place to learn. Great group of guys we have, and gals. We got guys and gals over here. Men and women truckers. A great family that we have going. And here we go. He says, can I survive $900 truck payment, 5 years? Well, we don't care about the length. $1.70 plus FSC. Now, is that $1.70 plus FSC? Is that dedicated run somewhere? Dedicated short? You know, what is that? Now, if you're on the spot market, this right here gets factored in. So the fuel surcharge, let's say, was 60 cents. You know, right here you'd be at $2.30. If it's 30 cents, you're at $2. So it just depends on fuel surcharge at the time. How much fuel can be written off? 100% of your fuel gets written off. 100%. So anything with that truck, okay? So if this 900 is a lease payment, if it's a lease, this is 100% write-off. If it's a bank payment, then you depreciate. You have depreciation that you write off. You don't write the payment off. You write the depreciation off and all your expenses. So you're going to write off your fuel. You're going to write off your insurance, repairs, tolls, truck washes, etc. So anything you do with that truck, you're going to write it off. So $900 truck payment. Let's say your insurance, I don't know how much it is, but on a $900 truck payment, it's probably going to be about $250 a month. So you're at $1150 a month. And then you'll have a license plate if you're paying for a license plate. That's going to run you about $150 a month for the plate. And this is the plate. And you do that, and it's $1,300 a month. So, if this was your truck, all in, this is your fixed expenses. We're not going to talk about fuel and repairs and tolls because those aren't fixed. This is your truck payment, insurance, and your plate. And let's say that's $1,300 a month. And if you're going to do 20 days on the road, you divide that into the 1,300. Which gives us what, folks? 20 into 1,300. $65 a day. That's what you got to do to pay for this part of your trucking business. Is $65 a day. Now you got to put your house stuff in here, right? So what's your house and your cars and credit cards and all that? So you add all that up, divide it by 20 days, add it to the 65, and that's what you need to net after fuel. You need to net it after fuel. That way you don't look at $1.70 a mile plus fuel surcharge, $2 a mile, $2.30 a mile. That's going to drive you crazy. That's where a lot of people fail. Believe me, that is where a lot of people fail because they are concentrated on this rate per mile because they got it in their mind that their cost per mile is $3 or $2.50, and they're not even figuring that right. Why? Because it's got all of these variables. The better fuel mileage you do, the lower your cost per mile. Cheaper your insurance you can get, lowers your cost per mile. More miles you do, lowers your cost per mile. So that's why this will put you in bankruptcy in this business faster than anything. Because people go by this in their mindset. And those are the same people that think 90% is better than 80. 88% is better than 65. Yes and no. 88 could be 57. 90 could be 62. Depends on what they charge you, what you have to pay for. And then you got to take that into consideration. And if you don't do the miles, it could be even lower than 60%. It could be in the 40%. But I'm getting 88 or I'm getting 90. No, you're not. It's a mind game. That's why I don't know how you want to say it. The predatory companies That's why they pay like that and say those percentages, because they know it's psychological. Psychological. Because first thing you're going to think of is, well, he gets 88, now I only get 65, I'm going over there. Now, if you take this company right here, and you take another company that pays 65 using their trailers, let's say we pay 73 using our trailers, we're 8% higher. You make more money here because they have a ton of takeouts at 65%, where as long as you pay in your truck insurance, your physical damage bobtail, occupational, there's nothing. You know, unless you get that fleet insurance through us and the license plate through us, then you'll have that fee just like if you paid it on your own, right? So there's no extra fees. We don't charge you to get paid. We don't charge to put money on a fuel card, all that good stuff. We don't charge a administrative fee tacked onto your IFTA and so forth and so forth. And we don't charge for the ELD. We don't make you pay for the ELD. Right? So I need a little more information, like, on your stuff. But $65 a day is nothing to make in trucking. Yeah, PJ, as much as he purchases. All right, folks, we have the legendary Pale Rider TV.
Yo.
What's up?
What's up? What's up,
What
Mr.
up,
Lake?
man?
What are you doing, man? Long time no see. Ain't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, man, we're just doing a little teaching, little tutorial.
This is a place to do your truck learning. The Truckers Education Network. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool Truck
Just
is
send me a cash app for that little plug there.
Okay, let me get you cash. Got to send
Nah,
Pale
just
Rider
kidding.
TV cash.
Just
app. Hold on a minute.
kidding. Just kidding, Jeff.
Um,
Just kidding.
Cool Trucking, yes. You can write off that whole truck one time at the end of the year. Same thing with the trailer, right? Even if a trailer's not paid off yet, you could take and write that whole number off if you need to pay less in taxes. Any piece of equipment you can write 100% off, because none of the equipment in this business is going to put you over the threshold for the Section 179. All right, back to Pale Rider TV.
Good to know. What's up? Yeah.
What's up, man?
I'm done.
James G. You're
done
done.
with the road.
So when did you decide to actually retire? Was it a couple
Well,
weeks ago?
I got sick in the truck over in South Carolina, and just aggravating. I didn't want to. I wanted to see if they could let me run regional or whatever and get out from over the road, but that didn't work out too well. So I said, "Screw it, I'm done." So.
Well, you've been doing it a long time, right? So
Yeah, I just feeling like crap the last month or so, and just tired of it. Too much stress, and I'm too old.
when you get old, we're old. It's kind of like Shadow Wolf, right?
Yeah,
He did it until the end. Now he's loving van life. He's got a good channel. I like that channel. I like seeing what he's doing.
yeah. Now you got a nice setup there.
Yeah, did you see his flag that he had made?
No.
Did you see that in the picture?
No.
Oh, well, watch the one video where he sets up his little fire, propane little fire pit he's got there. And he's talking about what he's going to do with this channel and what he wants to go see or whatever. If you look in the background, he's got a flagpole up next to his van with a Shadow Wolf flag flying.
Ah.
Yeah, he had a flag made up.
See that indiscreet plug there for Snowlord? I just cost him a couple dollars, so I'll be seeing some Cash App money from Snowlord.
Yeah. Send me some Cash App money, Pale Rider. $, Bravo Romeo November, and for all those non-military guys,
Big Rig Radio
BRRN.
Network.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah, I need to change that Cash App, but I never get no. I get Cash App for one.
No,
One person sends me Cash App every time I do a live. He sends me He sends me $5, and I appreciate it, and I just put it back in the channel.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right, exactly,
I hear
PJ. Jerome says, "Can you survive at 565 a day?" You can, but you have to work and you have to run the areas that support that amount per day.
I guess it all depends on what you got, what your expenses are.
Right, exactly.
Truck paid off. Yeah.
Right. And how many days you're out working. So,
Right, yeah.
if you figure it up on a 15 days per month, you could stretch it to 20 and that decreases a lot, or 25, it'll decrease it even more. What's up, Trucking Life? Yeah, so if you have your own trailer, we could take 15 or 20. If you don't have a trailer, come on over. We have a few trailers available. We just got some more in. So they're starting to come around. Trailers are starting to come available.
I guess I'll be putting my application in there. Trucking.com. I'm going to have to apply for an office position.
Yeah, an office position.
I'll put my application in. We'll see what happens. You never know, right? Never know.
Never know. 65 days easy. They pay ELD tolls and something else, like those write-offs. They get the pilot flying J discount and they pay truck washes. Well, there's a problem.
$600 easy.
If a company pays for your plates, pays for your tolls, and things like that, then you're kind of not classified as an owner-operator anymore by IRS regulations.
What is that? A lease purchase that he's asking about, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Part,
I'm not sure if you bought it or done that.
It's a company dispatch, but they're locked into 2,500 miles a week.
Right.
But my dispatcher is very good. So it's dispatched.
Right. All right, cool, Trucking. Just let me know whenever. It is a company dispatch, but they're locked into guaranteed 25 miles a week. But dispatcher is very good. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
Can
they really
you
guarantee
right?
$2,500? I mean, we all know the trucking industry and how that works. So
that ain't how that works.
I don't know. If
See,
they
here's
guarantee 2,500, they have to be doing you 4 every week.
Everybody knows my opinion, if they watch this channel, about leasing or owning a truck and being at a company that requires you to use their dispatcher.
Yeah.
Because the only thing I say about that is what, Pale Rider? What do you think I say about that?
I don't know.
You just hired a $12, $10 employee to be the CEO of your trucking company.
Exactly. You're at the mercy of the dispatch. That was one of my issues. But I didn't have that much of a problem in that department, but still, they would try to get in and put their nose in the business where it didn't really belong, I didn't think.
Right. They do that.
But
they force you to go places you don't want to go. You wouldn't take your truck because it's extra risk. in some
Right.
places, and you wouldn't go there if you picked your own freight.
Right.
And if they get mad at you, they can always say, "Oh, well, there's no more loads today. You have to wait till tomorrow," and you don't know, right?
We weren't really forced dispatch, but if you refused a load or something, it seemed like you could run into issues like, well, you're going to have to sit and wait till tomorrow. And I would make them mad. I would say, it's fine with me. So it would make them mad. They weren't making me mad. But I'm not talking crap about Colorado Central Hauling. I can't do it. But they're just some of the things that happened when I was over there. Didn't happen a lot, but we did, no company is 100% perfect. So
Right.
they all had
That's
their
true.
issues, but still, I was there for 12 years, so I'm not really talking crap about them. I'm just some of the things that happened to me when I was there.
Yeah, so Jerome says 565. That was his daily rate, I guess, on 21 days.
565. That's what he made every day. Netted every day? Or what?
Yeah, I think
I
it's
missed something.
net every day.
All right.
So let me show you why the cost per day is better than cost per mile. I'm going to go to the whiteboard. Here it is. So, Jerome, if you do 21 days, your expenses are $11,865 per month. That's 21 days times 565. Now, if you extend it to 4 more days, right? So let's say I'm going to work 25 days. Those 4 days extended lowers you from 565 to 474, which lowers your daily by $91. Actually, $90.40. It lowers it by $90 per day. Close to $100 a day, just adding 4 more days. So if you don't make it quite to 565 each day, then it's a lot easier to add 1 day here or 2 days because you still have 9 days, 10 days, or 9 or 10 days left in that month. So you can add. But if you're doing cents per mile and you base on 10,000 miles, and Pale Rider, you've been in this business a long time. Let's say you're at the 21 days and they didn't run you very many miles and you're sitting at 6,000 miles. Are you going to make the other 4,000 miles, do you think? Before the end of the month?
In 9 days?
Because you're going to have to work, right?
No.
You're going to have to work.
Right.
But more than likely, you're not going to make it. So you'll be in the hole. Because at this rate, they're only averaging you, just under 300 miles per day, right? If that's what you did with 6,000 in 21 days, it's right around 300 miles a day. At that rate, you're not going to make it.
Yep.
I just paid off my SFI truck. Can I write off depreciation? Speed shifter, it depends. You've been writing off the lease on it, but if you had a buyout, if you had a $30,000 buyout, let's say, or $60,000 buyout, what are those usually, Pale Rider? Like CalArc, what's their buyout?
Their buyout?
Yeah, at the end of the lease. Did you have a buyout?
No, 0.
Okay, you had a 0. They just did yours like a bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, SFI,
no payout.
they got a buyout.
Right.
So, if it's $20K you got a choice. You can write this off all in one time, or you can depreciate it over 3 years. Your choice on that 20K. And if you do it over 3 years, it actually goes to 4 years total. So you might get like $4,000 the first year. That's year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and this might be $9,000, and then $4,000, and then $3,000. It'd be something like that. Or this might even be 10, and this would be 2. It'd be something like that on depreciation. At this market rate, it would be better to be at the Big Orange as owner-operator. I differ from that statement, Jose. But because I've been there for 10 years. I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
So I know
you were there when we met. I think we were there. Yeah, you were at the Big Orange. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the Big Orange back then.
Yeah. But Speed Shifter, congratulations on paying that off. I know that's not an easy task. So you had to buckle down and do what you did, and I know it wasn't easy. So congratulations. See,
Why?
Mr. Charles and Spooby, only 2 other ones I know that have paid off their SFI trucks.
Because you can still make more money in the spot market.
Yeah.
Especially if you do regional. If you do regional, you'll beat the Big Orange money. Now,
but the short game,
they've changed.
Short game now.
They went to a system, or they're going to a system, where it's all in. Right? They won't say it, it's not about how many miles that it said this is the rate, that's the rate. It's all in. They're doing away, I think, with that percentage deal.
Oh. So this load is this, and that's it?
That's it.
This load will pay this much. No certain percentage. It's just, this is what it pays. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. What you see is... See, they got a good system, though, right? It's what you see is what you get. So you don't have to do math or none of that. Because if you take... Let's say at Schneider, right?
Okay,
if they say a load pays $1,000, that's what you get.
I know who a Speed Shifter is. I met him. He said he met me at the Jackson, Georgia. I remember that. I was sitting there at where was that? The Pilot. I was filming the Fuel Island or something.
Yeah.
And you walked up to me. Yeah, I remember. Okay. I remember a Speed Shifter. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you ask a Landstar guy, so I got $1,000 for this load. No, he didn't. He got $650 because they never do the percentage after. Somebody else in the green room. What's up, Stuart?
What's up, fella? How you doing?
Hey, man, we're doing all right. What's happening?
I think the pond.
Head, Jeff, with what you just said. Big companies, like the Big Orange or a Landstar, or you're talking about the different percentages, right? It's all. Right. I always use the word spaghetti because at the end of the day, I can make something look real good. It's a marketing ploy, right? To make it look better than what potentially is. And in reality, it's like, here's a perfect example, okay? Louisville to Indy, okay? You might, with Landstar, you might get, okay, I don't know, I'm trying to give an example here. It's just say it's 100 miles and it pays $1,000. Right, we know what Landstar is 65%.
Right, so it's $650.
Yeah, $650. You go on the spot market, they've got that load moving for $850. Well, people on the spot market say it's a bad deal, because Landstar pays this. Reality is you're actually walking away with more on the spot market.
Right.
Once it's all said and done, but people can't see see past that, right? And it just I don't know, how you show people that and get people to see past that. It's no different to, you were just talking about, cents per mile versus rate per day. Both of them are both moving targets, right? I mean,
Right.
at the end of the day, if you sit 2 days at a truck stop, you now have to drive more miles the next day. If your goal is 21 days and you want to do 10,000 miles, or if you got to do $560 a day, you now have to make that deficit up. It's a moving target. At the end of the day, it's the same. It's the same thing. It's just how you put it on paper and how you want to equate to that final number, right?
Well, here's the thing, Stuart. Here's the thing about cost per day and cost per mile. It's a mindset, right? It's a mindset game, just like the percentages. So
exactly.
If you look at a load board and you see $1.50 a mile, and you think you need $2 a mile to run, you're not even going to look at it. It's too cheap, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you know your cost per day, let's say, is $400, and that run goes 600 miles, $900, and after fuel and everything, you're down to $400. You can run that load, make what you need to make. But there's a lot of guys out there, they'll sit the whole day because they didn't get their $2 a mile. Let's say they see all this $1.50, $1.75 mile freight. They sit there until they find a $2 a mile, whether it's 1 or 2 days later or 3 days later.
Yep. Just rolling that deficit, still rolling that clock.
Right, they're rolling deficit.
Yep.
But with cost per day, if you just look at how much money it pays and do your calculation, take your fuel out and everything, if that meets your minimum requirement, you can keep that truck rolling.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Man, 100%. But like you said, it's the mindset, right? How does how I visualize something, how you visualize something, or Pale Rider visualizes something, there's some people that can see both ways and say, okay, well, this makes sense and you can make it make sense to you in both categories, right? Because you can see past the sales pitch or whatever you want to call it, right? The word spaghetti, and you can pick it apart. But there's some people that can't do that, right? And I get, for some people it's better to look for a day aspect just because it makes more sense to them, and I don't want to use the word simplifies it, but just takes away a lot of the the stuff in the weeds,
Well, and the reason why I know about cost per mile and how people think, especially Landstar, because I was there for 10 years, and that's what they taught back in the day, right? It's old school.
Mm-hmm.
So there was plenty of times I sat down in Florida, 3, 4. I'm out in California in February for a week because they didn't have any freight.
Dang.
So you sit there because you're stuck to their one load board. Mm-hmm. But back then in the 90s, that was the best thing going.
Yeah.
Because when you had your authority back then, it wasn't all easy like, just get on a phone and click loads. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as...
One thing I do like about the cost per day, right, is in this industry, we all know there's times where you could be sat at a dock or something rolls over to the next day and you get held up somewhere for 10 hours. That does take more into account than a cost per mile does, right? I mean... Right,
because I have taken loads that only went 40 miles where I live. And it went to Myers. And I knew that I would be there all night long. So I would take that load on purpose, and the load would only pay, let's say, $500 for the 40 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you need $400 a day, but you're going to get detention, and that detention pay covers more than half because you're going to get a layover, right? So you get $250. You only need to make $150, so you're not driving and you're making your minimums.
Yep. No, it's I'm guilty of that too, man. I would go if I was going through a cold storage facility, I would plan. I would get there, take a 2-hour break just beforehand, go in knowing I'm going to be 6, 7, 8 hours in there, and finish off my break. But at the same time, while I'm on my break, I'm collecting detention. You know,
Right. I would take Target.
There you go.
Yeah.
I would take Target in Galesburg, Michigan every time. People say, I don't go there because you got to wait 10 or 12 hours. Yeah. But I get the load that delivers, let's say at 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night. I would drop the trailer in there. I'd bobtail to the truck stop, come back the next day, and collect $250 for sleeping.
Yep. Yep. It's I think a lot of it, and I put it in a comment earlier. Fundamentals, man. You know, if you want to survive in the down market, right? Keep your overhead low, money management, utilizing, knowing your facilities. If you know you're going to be somewhere for a long time, capitalize, get that attention. If you're going to take a break anyway, and you're there 8, 9, 10 hours, collect the money and utilize it, and use that time when you get it back to then, it's knowing your customer. And I think going back to fundamentals and utilizing, you can talk about negotiating with brokers, doing this, S Corps, LLs, all this stuff, right? Which I always say is college education stuff, right? And, we need to be, if you focus on the kindergarten stuff, the fundamentals, and have a good foundation, the rest will just follow, right? If you're worried about paying taxes, it means you're doing something right. That's what my dad always told me. He says, if you've got a big tax bill and you're worried how to get out of it, it means you're doing something right because you're making money.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. You're worried about filing petitions and going to tax court. Right?
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a lot of mindset and just how to know how to run in a lean market.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah,
And people,
go ahead.
People they spend way more money than what they make, right? They get themselves in a lot of debt. And
Yeah.
that hurts, because especially if they do it when the times are good, right? They come out here and run and they're making tons of money. They start spending that money like they're at that new income level.
Mm-hmm.
And when that income level goes, that's when you see a lot of people exit the business.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I came in, so I started my authority, right, originally in 2015. And it wasn't the best year, went 16. Look, and I realized very quickly I didn't want my own authority. I had a couple of contractors leased onto me, and I didn't want that responsibility. I enjoyed the freedom, but I didn't, I found very quickly having your own authority doesn't necessarily mean you have freedom, right? You suddenly,
Right.
especially with a couple of contractors, is a big burden. Getting that phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning from a contractor, hey, I just hit someone, I backed up the off ramp and nailed someone. What the hell, So I learned very quickly I didn't or the carrier side of it, and went, as a contractor. And, then I learned very quickly, overhead is a big thing, saving your money and good money management, because it's very easy. There's a lot of money changes hand very quickly in this industry. And before you know it, you can make $1 million, but if you spent $990,000 to do it, what's the point?
Right.
What have you done it for?
I was trying to find this article that I was reading, and it was going back to, what was it? Like the 1980s or so, somewhere in there. They were saying, like almost 35, 40 years ago, they were saying the average truck driver, owner-operator back then, basically was at $38 an hour. Now, in today's time frame, it's $24 an hour.
I believe it.
Because you got to think of, if you're at a regular job with overtime, you work 70 hours, you're at $24 an hour. That's $960, and then you got another 30 at 36. So that puts you around $2,000 for the week. It's about right, isn't it?
But how have they got away with it? And this is the question I always ask myself. How do we constantly, as an industry, we're going to make less. We're going to make less. We're going to just keep taking less, and less, right? How does that happen?
You know
The
that
words,
you know how that happens?
the words. I think it's the word. You get these crazy percentages or these crazy deals that come along, which aren't better. I think that they're worse, and people don't even realize.
It happens because this industry is so easy to get into that the people don't know what they really should be getting paid.
Right.
And it's more money they ever made before. And it suppresses it because if all the owner-operators stuck together and they had a certain structure, let's say nothing less than $4 a mile. We'll just put a number out there. Nothing less than $4 a mile. So no owner-operator in the whole country will take less than $4 a mile on any load. It doesn't matter if the freight's slow or is booming. Guess what? It's not going to run for $1.50 because no one's going to run it. They'll have to pay the $4. It's kind of like look at COVID, right? When they shut the country down, it was $4, $5, $6, $8 a mile, no matter what it was. So if they could pay it then, why can't they pay it now?
Yeah, and when you start talking about stuff like that, your minimum rates and stuff like that, there is industries, right, that do have similar stuff. Because the first thing that someone's going to say, if you have a minimum, there's now going to be a maximum, right? People are going to push back and want a maximum. And that does sort of happen. I mean, if you look at hotel rooms, and if you ever looked on the back of a hotel room door, there's a thing called a rack rate.
Right.
Where that hotel could not charge any more than X for this room. So it could be the top floor of the Marriott Marquis in Times Square. You look on the back, even on New Year's Eve, they can't charge more than that rate for that room. So there is things similar in different industries, but how do you implement it, right? How do you put a minimum, maximum in place? Because it does go both ways, right? No one can sit here and tell me and say I need $7 a mile to run. I mean, unless you're an anomaly and you're oversized and stuff like that, I understand. But there's guys pulling a box down the road, 15,000 pounds in the back, telling me they need, $5, $6, $7 a mile to run to be profitable. My first question is, what the hell are we doing here? But a lot of that, how much is that the incompetency of the industry because you can just buy your way in, right?
Right. Well, it's kind of like a broker. Whatever his percentage is. 7, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever it is. Right? So when times get tough, he's not reducing his percentage.
Do we know that? I mean...
But the carrier's reducing it because he's taking whatever he can get.
Yeah, but that's also capitalism, right? There's
right.
And this is where
right. But see, that's what I'm saying.
Fine.
The trucking industry is the one that could set the rates, but there's no consistency. No one sticks together. Everybody's their own small business.
Yep.
And a lot of them, sad to say it, don't have any business knowledge on how to run a business. That's why people are moving stuff for 80 cents, $1, and they don't even realize that the fuel costs more than what they're getting paid to move it.
No, I feel my theory or my solution to it is, right, I don't think necessarily maximum or minimum numbers on rates are the way to go. I think more of a business component, no different to how we have to have a CDL to drive the truck. If you want to become a lease operator, an owner operator, and run under someone's numbers, you have to take some sort of business competency test. I mean, they do it for contractors, they don't just allow any old Joe Schmo to build a house. You have to be, and part of that exam is you have to business knowledge. When can you put a lien on stuff? How to actually build the house. Sometimes I feel like if you're going to, if the government wants to step in and put regulation in place, it's not capping someone's hours. It's not doing all these crazy things, speed limiters. It's actually maybe just raising the bar of the knowledge,
Right. Maybe taking a test and get a license.
Yeah. I mean, and it's done in
a
other
business license.
They have it in the UK. If you want to start a haulage business or a carrier in the UK, you have to go and sit a test, before you can do it. So, but it is implemented in other places around the world. So, you know. And I think that maybe that, you know, when someone actually realizes, crap, I'm actually moving this at a loss right now, you know, I'm actually paying to move this, it's
Right.
it might stop, you know.
I don't know what you're asking here. You say when you pay $70K a year for fuel and you write it all off, do you get a refund on that?
Hmm?
It depends. If your taxes, if your 1040 is down to zero and you got some kids, you'll get money back. Even if you have zero, or if you have a loss in the business, you could still end up with 4, 5, 6, 8 grand on return, depending on how many dependents you got. So tax questions are hard to answer because you don't know the person's situation. Anyone remember pallet exchange? Oh, I remember pallet exchange.
Pallet exchange.
Oh yeah, you know, running them reefers, you know all about that. Come on.
Not me.
Back in the day, sometimes you'd carry the pallets underneath or inside the trailer, and
Oh yeah,
they would take the freight off and put empty pallets back on your trailer. Pallet for
That's
pallet.
crazy. I remember going to a place when I was with Epps up somewhere up in New York. Tried to put their freight on pallets. They were trying to charge Epps. I had to write a com check
Yeah, and
to
what
get them to pay for the pallets to put their freight on our trailer. So what kind of crap is this?
what do you guys
Oh, it's
think of
New York.
this? It's 2023. No driver should have to go in and pay a lumper service. All those services should be prepaid. You should be able to go there, unload, get your bill signed, and leave.
Agree. The only thing that I will say is if it has to be restacked, then, and you know, if it's just a normal unload, but you know, all the pallets are falling over and they have now a restacking fee, that would be the only complication to that. But they should have accounts, right? I mean, you know.
Well, yeah, they should have accounts, and they should say, okay, if it has to be restacked because it's fallen over, they should take a picture of it, send it to the shipper, and they get their extra money when they send it for the bill.
I never understood why that was involved the driver in the exchange of the hiring the lumper and everything else. That just never made sense to me.
Because that's one of those underhand crooked deals that started way back in the time.
It's your freight. You ordered it. You get it off my trailer.
It's just another way for shippers not to pay Social Security and Medicare tax and all that on employees.
Right. Yep. Just
you know,
contract it out to somebody else.
Like Walmart and all these food distribution warehouses and it's only the food distribution warehouses, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Most of them that charge it.
Yeah. I was always under the impression, and you know, I take it with a pinch of salt, it was more of a liability, like the quality of the product and stuff like that. You know, so the shipper didn't have to take responsibility if they didn't like the looks of it. They never took responsibility for it. It was the lumper, so there was always a middleman. So they were never left holding the bag, as to say. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know how true that is, but it sort of makes sense with always being at food places, right? You know, where maybe there is an element of quality control, but I don't know. I just think the whole thing's a sham when it comes to lumpers. It's overcomplicated, right?
Right. It is. Do you remember the little blue pieces of paper? When you go into California, you had to get the trailer permit. You had to buy them.
I never ran into that.
Yeah, it sells you for $7 in Arizona before you got there, and they're good for 3 days. You had to stick them in the front of the trailer, and a little fisheye there.
Yeah.
And banning, and everybody would check you, make sure you had your little trailer permit.
I've never dealt with that. Worst with California I had was I was moving them U-Haul boxes, you know, like the width of the trailer about 5 feet deep. It was a partial, and there was some bug. They wanted paperwork knowing the origin of the box, and they wouldn't let me into the state until I had I had the origin of where it was picked up, which U-Haul location, but they wanted to know the actual house address where this box was picked up from. So that's about the worst of it with California.
Right. CDN's on his workout. He's got time to type, so he must be taking a break, and he must have got wore out.
He must have lived through that sled thing because he's commenting. So I guess he made it. I would be dead.
He's saying lumber, so he's still thinking he's lifting, right? So lumber.
Here's one. What's your opinion on this, Jeff? Okay, go to a lumper facility. You go to a facility. There's a lumper fee. You get a com check or an EFS check from the broker, right? For the lumper fee. Then the broker says, "Well, I'm going to charge you $5 for the check." Now, FMCSA says the carrier shouldn't be responsible for the lumper fee. It should all come between the carrier, or the broker, the shipper, and the receiver. It's between them, right? But the carrier should not be responsible. But they're charging you $5 for the check fee, but for that check.
Worse than that, C.H. Robinson charges you $15 for the check.
So that's wrong, isn't it?
Yes, because they're not paying $15 for that check. They're not paying nothing for it. If they are, they probably got a deal. They got a deal with ComCheck and stuff where it's only 25 cents or 50 cents. They're not paying $15.
Yeah, but that's an associated fee to a lumper fee, and once again that's being passed on to a carrier, right?
Well, during the FMCSA, if you're talking regulation, we're not supposed to have to unload the truck or pay to have it unloaded.
But what I think when they say pay is we're responsible. It's not coming out of our bank account, and we're not getting. I mean, I think getting reimbursed is one thing, but I mean, to me, someone like C.H. Robinson, when you're getting charged $15, to have their money pay for the lumper fee, that's wrong.
It is wrong because they're making a lot of money, right? Because they're charging. Right, that shipper's paying them that lumper fee, and there's no $15 taken out of it.
Yeah, once again, I feel that's another area where and makes you wonder, right? Is this how you talk about the hourly rate in trucking is gone down? It's them little things that all add up, right?
Well, let's look at the little things. If you go to a trucking company that charges you a fee, like an ACH transaction to get your paycheck, to get your money, that's not right either.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a little
right?
crazy.
We all know who does that.
Yeah.
Or load a fuel card and charge you a fee to load the fuel card. There's no fee to charge a fuel card.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
And if you add all those fees up, man, these companies are making millions just off of nickel and dime fees that, it's a money source for them. Just like if you look at fuel discount. All the megas do not give all the fuel discount. Right? So if they say it's 50 cents at this truck stop, they might be getting $1. We don't know. But they're keeping half of it in their pocket, or whatever percentage it is that they're, that they want to.
Yeah. But people sign on to that,
right? And
that's once again, it comes back to the competency level of people signing to that. And if you're okay with losing that much money, and up front, that's one thing. But if you're not happy,
if they disclosed it, right? If they disclosed it in their advertising, how many people would go? If they knew that,
they wouldn't, right? Go to
just like IFTA.
Yeah.
When I went out on my own, started doing my own IFTA, I'm like, why do I pay so much less? That's because those companies they must have had administrative fee tacked in there.
And there's no excuse for an administrative fee. And with the way the log systems are, and it's pretty much copy and paste. I mean,
there's no reason for administrative fee on anything because they're getting money from the load.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it should all be included in the percentage, right? That's just the way I look at it. If you're gonna show say 95%, but you're gonna fee for this, fee for that, fee for this, fee for that. Why don't you just put it all in an all-in-one? Like you do, Jeff, an all-inclusive price, right?
Right.
And it just, it just opens the door to. It looks like you're trying to hide something, right? When people, give a really big number, and then they'll nickel and dime the hell out of you on everything else.
Yeah, like Jose said, add the check fee to the lumper fee is what I would, to the rate. Well, the problem is, if you add $15 to your rate to cover the check, yes, you still are paying some money on that $15 because it's income. Right? You're still going to pay some taxes on it when you do your tax return. But you're not going to pay all $15. You might pay $3 of it.
Still comes back to principle, right? I mean,
right. Still comes back to principle.
Yeah.
They should not charge you to get a com check number from them because they're not even giving you a paper check. They're just giving you a number, and it's easy because I have an EFS account, and I can go in there and get an EFS code to pay for lumpers or whatever, and it doesn't cost me nothing. So a company with a small amount of number of trucks compared to a company with 10,000 trucks, why is there a fee? If I don't have to pay a fee, they don't have to pay a fee.
It's an income source. It's an income source for them, right? And look at the brokers. The brokers that do it are the ones that predominantly have a lot of their loads going to them types of facilities, right? They're not know what they're doing. They've just got away with it for so long.
That's like you go to one that unloads stair light, the real light plastic stuff or whatever. It's $500-$600 unload the trailer. I'm like, are you kidding me? This stuff doesn't weigh nothing.
That's ridiculous.
Or you go to the warehouse at Kroger and they charge you $75 to unload 18 pallets of water. They don't unstack them or nothing. That's just the forklift trying to go in and out. I mean, you can unload that trailer in 6-7 minutes.
You could, but they don't.
We need to get a lumper service.
Yeah, and if you take a TQL load of plants coming out of Florida, which is all floor loaded, TQL don't want to pay any more than $15 to unload that sucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Caps don't charge you $550 to do that.
Right. They'd probably charge you $1,000.
I did that one time. I did them floor loaded plants that when I was living down in Florida one time. Fortunately, I had my son with me at the time. And I tell you, I said, dude, here's $25. Get in the back and start unloading it. I was like, that was that. And they were the big, like the 18-inch round pots. Never again will I ever touch a floor load.
That's like hauling Christmas trees.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Man.
It's rough. Tires, same thing. We got to throw the tires off the back.
Yeah.
Done that. I rode a lot of tires in my day.
Ponzi used to do that all the time. He's with Landstar.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I did
loved
last
it,
time. You did a lot of those tire roll-offs.
Yeah, but my point is, if you try to charge lumper rates to unload that stuff, they'll just laugh at you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just how
Exactly.
it's acceptable for a lumper company to do it, but if you try and charge for that stuff at the same sort of rate, you're just beating your head against.
Happen.
It's not right. It's not right.
It's almost comical to how there is such double standards with certain things, And
it's comical on what they want to say detention time is, when they're getting way more than $35.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's another thing, right? I love the old famous line. I need to get approval for detention with my customer, and I'm at the point to where I'm just like, well, unfortunately, my agreement's not with your customer. My agreement's with you, and we agreed on it. After so many hours, I'm going to get paid this. You don't have to get approval. This is what we agreed upon. If you can't honor that, don't agree to it up front in our contract. And it's like, but so many people will just turn over and accept that as an answer. right? And but it's just a way for them to get out of it. It's and of course you'll have to fight with them for weeks on end to even get an answer back.
Right. That's like you read in some of these Facebook forums and things like that. They say, well, just write it on the rate con and send it back to them. Okay. That's going to work.
Yeah,
because if I'm a broker and I send you, Stuart, a rate con, and I say, $35 an hour to unload, and if you don't use tracking, and another good one was where adding $250 or $300 if you don't use tracking, which is a big scam too, right? Mm-hmm. But I put that on there, and you don't like it, and you line that stuff out. They say, oh yeah, you just do that, and a lot of other brokers take it, and you send that back to me. I'm going to call you and say, well, I can't give you the load because these are my, this is my parameters. If you don't want to haul the load and abide by them, I'll find somebody else.
I will disagree with you a little bit on that, Jeff, because I have worked for a carrier out of Florida. We all know him. And I would get on the phone with TQL and they would say to me every single time, you need to agree to our detention policy. And I'm like, why? And like, well, you have a special one. Like there was a one negotiated at a different rate, but there was times where I would say, no, I'm not agreeing to your detention rate. We're going to keep ours in place. And they would say, well, you're not going to get the load then. Okay, that's fine. I'll move. So yes. And I'm sure there is brokers that will say, yeah, we just don't want to do business with you then. But I also want to say, I don't think it's impossible because I've seen it firsthand with brokers.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible, but you're not going to get it done just on a one load basis.
No.
Right.
It's a lot of, once again, it's upfront. Right? And this is another issue with the industry that I see is it's never a problem until it's a problem. I mean, you can go on these Facebook groups and you see all these bitching and moaning about detention, layover, and all these crazy things, right? And it's like, well, why wasn't you more proactive up front? Maybe saying, hey, getting there's guys that I know, that have called me and I've said, well, what's your detention? I don't know. I never spoke to the broker about it. Well, how do you go into a deal, bitch and moan about it when it doesn't go in your favor, but you don't even know what you can't shut the gate once the horse is bolted, right? And I feel like that's when you see a lot of these griping, that's what's happened.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You hear these guys talking about this, and they have companies with 12, 14, 15, 20, or 30 trucks. That's different from a single guy, right? So, for instance, if you got 30 trucks and, I don't know, pick somebody, TQL, Uber, anybody, and you're hauling $750,000 or $1 million worth of freight for them a year, you do have some leverage to go in there and say, hey, we don't want the $40 an hour detention. We want 65, or we want 400 for layover, not 250. And you might be able to work that deal.
Yeah.
Because the volume that you are paying, that you're doing for them.
Yeah, no, for sure. 100%. There is definitely something to be said for size and leverage, right? There is an element to that,
and that's with rates, right? Because if you haul $1 million for this broker and they're peddling, let's say, a load for $1.75 on the board, and you always hold it for $3, chances are they might give it to you for $3, just because you're high volume for them, and they have your work history and everything. And even though the times are tough, they can still pay that money.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. I think from a brokerage standpoint, and I've asked some of these brokerages, what are some of the challenges that they run across, and it's first of all getting someone just to speak English and get cleared out, right? That's it sounds crazy. Just being on time, freight claims, all these crazy things, and just giving that broker peace of mind. I had a conversation with Elizabeth one time, and I was asking her, like, because they post freight, I said, when you post a load on the board, what are you getting? If you've got X number posted, right? And you know that's what the market average is. What do you, when people are calling in, what are you seeing? Is it like a shotgun where you've got people with rates all over the place, or is it a pretty small grouping and number? And she said, that's a great question. And then she said, numbers are all you got idiots out there trying to get $10 a mile, and then you've got morons out there that will move it for a buck a mile, and you've got everything in. So, if you take that theory, right, and what they've experienced, and then you look across the whole industry, what's a broker meant to do? What's right, what's wrong, or do they just go to the point and say, well, let's just move it for the cheapest number and hope we don't have any issues? I don't know what you do in that situation, right? When you've got such a wide range,
right? I mean, if you're a broker, it's a business, right? You're a business, and if you get a load that pays $3,000 for, let's say, 1,000 miles, you got this load, and you look. And that's the worst enemy, right? If they say the average is $2, if that guy can get somebody to haul it for $1.08 or $2, he's going to keep that dollar all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a business.
Yep.
And if he can get somebody to haul it for 80 cents, he'll keep the $2.20 in his pocket and laugh. Right? I mean, he will.
I mean, if I was the broker and I had someone, I had $3,000 in, and I had someone offering me 80 cents, I'm going to take the guy that's probably offering me 80 cents, unless I've got a really bad feeling about him. You know what I'm saying? And
no, but I'm saying if you look at the board and you see that the freight out of that area, all these other brokers have stuff posted for $1.50 a mile, and you got a $3 a mile load, you're not putting that $3 a mile out there for $3. You're going to shove it out there for $1.50 like everybody else, or maybe $1.60.
Mm-hmm.
And then if a guy negotiates 170, 180, you make him feel good. You say, yeah, you can have it for that, because they're making their profit way more than what their average profit would be, and that's just because there's people out there that are hauling this stuff for dirt cheap and driving the price down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because a broker's not going back to the shipper and saying, hey, we're moving this stuff for $1 a mile. They ain't telling the shipper what they're moving it for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But see, there's going to be an end to individual brokers. We might not see it, but the brokers are coming to an end in the future. It's going to go to digital platform. To where you're going to have, let's say, a C.H. Robinson or a TQL, the big mega brokers. The small guys will be out of it. Because think of this concept. Everything's digital now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not hard for them to have all the shippers in the country to get on their platform, upload their load, and have that broker, that one digital platform, collect the money from the shipper and pay the carrier, where the shipper doesn't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about if you're qualified or not, because you have to qualify to be on that platform to pick the loads or to negotiate. So when the shipper posts a load and you say, I'll do it for $2,000, that goes right to the shipper to say yes or no.
Yeah, I mean, we almost sort of have that already, right? I mean, if you look,
right.
if you take all of the platforms we have, right? You look at a DAT load board or 123 load board, right? Okay, look, you got individual brokers posting the load. Okay, well now let's just say we take the brokers out and we put a shipper. They turn into brokers, and then our shippers. They've got the software and pretty much
it's there.
It's there already. It's just the legalities of it all and just fine tuning everything. Right.
So they could do away with the broker.
Yeah, and but once again, you look at the your DATs and your 123s and all these load boards, right? They probably don't have the financial funding to convert over. When you talk, the liability, it would probably be like a CH Robinson or a TQL buying them out and just
right.
And doing it that way is the way I would see that happening, to where it becomes just a massive click and go almost.
Because there's already some digital platforms out there that deal with just shipper carrier?
Uber. Uber's why I
Yeah.
went to a pickup. I did a click and go with Uber. This is back when they first towards their beginning. So I want to say maybe 18, 17, somewhere like that. It was back then, and I went to a shipper, and it was on the board, and they gave me address. So I get there. They didn't have a bill of lading. They said, "Hang on a second." They went to the Uber their side, the shipper's side of Uber. They printed off a bill of lading right there and filled it out right in front of me. So I mean, it's already there, and I could see like all of the payment, all of the how they were going to pay and stuff like that. It was all in that part of the account. So that stuff exists already. It's just taking it to the masses and getting, But I don't know if I like the idea. I'm not a fan of the click and goes too much because it just becomes a race to the bottom, right? And it's it plays on people's emotions, right? There's that element.
But this platform really wouldn't be let's say a click and go. What it would be is what they're talking about is you'd have a carrier, and the shippers would post their freight, and then the carriers that are on that platform would basically send a bid, right? You click a bid button and put how much money you want to run that freight for, and then that shipper could pick one of those carriers.
Yeah, the problem with that is though, right? Let's say I put a bid in, right? You put a bid in, Jeff, and the shipper's looking at that. Well, while that bid's in, I'm looking at other loads in my mind. Okay, well, if that bid doesn't come through, I'm going to have, another bid going here. Well, that bid comes in, but then they decide to do business with me instead of you. Now I've got 2 bids accepted. Does the shipper want to be dealing with having, now I've had to reject it. Now we're going to go back to you and say, hey, but at that point now you're already looking at something else because that you was outbid or vice versa, right? So I ask myself, is that what the shipper wants to do? That's what a broker does, right? So
well, yeah, but and the shipper could have, like Coyote and them, right? They could have a price out there where you can just click the button and you take it.
Also, like a max, almost like with the stocks where you can buy at a certain rate, or sell at a certain rate, sort of similar. Okay, I could see that working where they set parameters in, right? They can say, look, we'll move it from anywhere from $1.50 to $2 a mile or whatever, right?
Like Convoy already does, right? Convoy in their app, they'll have a high, right? They say, well, we want to be at 1,200 for this load. You could bid 1,300, 1,400. But if somebody comes in close to 1,200, they're going to give it to them.
Yeah.
Right? There could be a range there.
Mm-hmm.
But just like Coyote, right? They have the price on there, but they also have an offer button, just like JB Hunt. Right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have that. To where, okay, they say 1,200, but you put in for 1,400. It'd be the same thing for the shipper, right? He would see that come across, and they could say yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They could respond yes or no.
Yeah. How many times have you done Convoy where I've the bid out there and nothing, it's like maybe 2 or 3 days out, and then the day of, they're not responding, my bid's still out there, I then go and book a load, and all of a sudden I get they're accepting, right?
I have all my guys go and delete their bids, right? I say, if you get a load, you got to delete all your bids.
Yeah.
But see, Convoy also has it where it is smart. The same thing with Uber. I mean, if you win the bid, you have, let's say, 15 minutes to accept it. If not, it goes back on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they know that, you might already be gone or, trucks are already moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely the way of the future for sure. I definitely agree with you. I see it going away. Just like the minutiae of it all and the details is what I would be curious to see how it works. Exactly.
It'll get there. It'll get there because they'll work out all the details. But sooner or later, it'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
Because
and the more hands you can cut out the pot as well. If these brokers are taking 20, 30, 40,
they're going to get better customer service.
Right?
Because then the shipper will have somebody in the department go, okay, where's our load at? Well, they got to call the broker. First, they got to get a hold of the broker. So finally, when they get a hold of the broker, then that broker's got to try to get a hold of the driver. Right? And then once he gets hold of the driver and finds out, then he's got to call the shipper back. Where now it's just between two people.
Yeah.
It's more efficient.
No, I
Right?
definitely agree. Right? There's a lot of with the technology which is out there and integrating it all together. I mean, like the ELD, right? You know, brokers want to get inside the ELD so they can track you. Right? You have someone where you've got an all-in-one database, you know, brokerage, whatever you want to call it, where the shipper's looking at, he can click on that load and see, okay, well, it was assigned to this truck, which was, you know, now we can see inside the ELD, okay, well, he's now in this location. If once you know, put it all together, the technology is there to do it. It's just having a software system that does all that, right?
Right.
And but I definitely see the benefits to it.
Well, guys, I'm going to get off here. It's about 11 o'clock.
All right.
Alrighty, man. Well, I will
Thanks.
catch you.
11. Oh, you're in the Eastern time zone. You're over there in
Thanks
that
for
weird
coming in,
part.
Stuart. And Pale Rider TV, thanks for coming in. Since you're retired, I mean, you can go live now and stay up all night. You're retired.
Yeah, one of these evenings, I'm going to have you on. We're going to talk about your trucking career all the way from the beginning to now.
Oh, man, that's boring,
Yep.
man. You want to hear all those stories?
Oh, crap. That's interesting.
You want to hear all
Tell
those
him
stories?
that's interesting. Hear his life story in trucking. Don't you think?
No,
I do.
had a lot of stuff happen over all those years, man. That'd be a marathon video.
That's fine with me.
He's retired.
James
He's got time. He's got lots of time.
Oh yeah, we got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Talk about when I get hit by the tornado. Talk about when a lady tried to rob me in Chicago.
That's the stuff we're going to talk about right there. That's interesting stuff. People like hearing about the
hauling swinging meat to Hunts Point and all that good stuff.
Oh God, that's a nightmare.
Cowhides.
I heard the stories on the cowhides. I don't want anything to do with that stuff. Man, that's nasty.
No, the blood be dripping out of the side of the trailer, and a guard come up to me one time and says, "Hey, you got some juice dripping on. You got some broken freight in there." I said, "No, it's cowhides." "No, it isn't." Open that back door, and he about puked when he smelled it.
Oh God, oh, good God.
And it was bad back then because all the trailers had wood walls, and it would stay in that wood.
Oh man, that's.
It wasn't even in a refrigerated trailer.
No, put it in a dry van.
Oof.
In the heat of Texas. Yeah, in the heat of Texas, man, it stunk when you opened those doors, boy.
Good Lord. You can't hardly haul anything else after that.
No, you got to get a washout and spread some coffee in there and everything else.
Yeah, we used to have to do that when we hauled tobacco and everything for, when I was working at EPS. Raw tobacco, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of customers would smell that and they reject the trailer right away. So we had to go buy some coffee and let it sit for a few hours. And I said, what a waste of coffee.
All right, everybody.
Appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll see you.
All right, man. Appreciate it.